Home cleaning is one of those tasks that is as rewarding as it is tedious. And if you're as lazy as I am, you'd prefer if there was just a button you could press and have your house clean itself somehow. Fortunately, the robot vacuum cleaner makes that dream a little more reachable. iLife wants to be the cleaning companion you'd always wanted with their latest A7 model. Is it going to allow you to be a little lazier? Well, let's find out. Believe it or not, robot vacuum cleaners, or Robovacs, have been around since around 1996. Electrolux released their Trilobite, which gets its name after the extinct arthropod that scoured the ocean's floor as a scavenger or filter feeder. The Electrolux Trilobite used ultrasonic sensors for obstacle detection and even had a charging base to which it returned when its batteries were running low. Fast forward around 22 years, which is an entirety in technology years, and Robovacs have gone through the full cycle that many products have gone through. A product is first quote-unquote invented, is expensive to manufacture and purchase, it's then copied and improved by other companies. The market is then suddenly flooded with cheap knockoffs, which is a kind of double-edged sword. It's great because it gives everyone access to the technology, but can also make choosing one really difficult. There are now very distinct market areas when it comes to Robovacs. There are companies like Dyson and Samsung that are at the very high end in terms of price with Robovacs, setting you back around 1,000 United States shekels a piece. They have things like laser beams and cameras and, well, their brand names as well. And then there are other companies that are at the very low end of the spectrum. One of my favorite things about the iLife A7 is that it sits towards the lower end in terms of price, but around the middle to high end in terms of features and functionality. iLife also have around 11 different models of Robovacs, depending on your budget and use case. For your hard-earned cash, you get the main unit along with the charging base, which has a built-in infrared doodad which communicates with the main unit to bring it home. There are 2 sets of side brushes and a spare filter to use when one set is being cleaned, a cleaning tool and a bristle brush. Finally, a handy-dandy remote to remotely control your Robovac. The main unit looks like your typical disc-shaped Robovac. The A7 is genuinely well built and will suit almost any aesthetic. It's got this metallic, glittery look going for it, and for a vacuum cleaner, it actually looks kind of cool. On the front are the bumper, proximity sensors, and infrared thingy that communicates with the home charging base. On the underside, there's quite a lot happening. There are the brushes, wheels, dustbin, and the cliff sensors, which will detect things like ledges and prevent your A7 from breakdancing down the staircase. Finally, on the top, there are all the buttons, which we'll cover a little later, and a nice bright LCD display and signal lights. Now, down to the main event. To get started, first, you should find a spot to place your base station. The base station needs to be placed on a flat surface and not in direct sunlight so as to not confuse the infrared sensors. Another thing that confuses the infrared is mirrors. So if you have mirrors in your room that reach the floor, you need to cover up the first 15 centimeters. The base also needs to have enough clearance around it. You need about 2 meters or 6.5 feet in front and about 1 meter or 3.5 feet on either side. All of these are really important to help the A7 find its way home correctly. The last thing we need to prepare is the area that we are going to clean. This includes things that are going to get tangled, like cables, headphones, tentacles. Oh yeah, I had my gym bag on the floor, and even these strings caused a problem. So make sure you're giving the A7 a nice clean path. My apartment is also one level, so I had to make sure things under my bed and couch weren't going to get in the way of my trusty A7. Make sure your chairs and appliances are in place, as your A7 will better learn your house as it cleans regularly. Finally, all you have to do is hit the gargantuan button on the top and off it goes. Dead skin, last night's crumbs, and your guilty feeling of being lazy are no match for the A7. I'd recommend you keep the A7 on the high setting, especially for the first few runs. Though for me, it didn't get the level of cleaning I'd required, but that could be down to the dense carpet that's in my place. Full disclosure here, I did not expect the A7 to perform this well. After just a single run, the dustbin was full. I mean, look at this. A Robovac can have all the features, extras, and battery life in the world, but if it can't clean, it may as well just not exist. iLife has nailed it here, both on carpet and tiles. Great stuff. There are a number of cleaning modes here, to say the least, the details of which you can find in the full review on our website. Now, the A7, I believe, is the first in iLife's range to have a companion app. The app, I must admit, needs some work in terms of making it a little more user-friendly. However, all the features of the A7 are in there. As with any other smart device, you connect it to your Wi-Fi network, and now you can control the A7 from, well, anywhere in the world, really. While you can control the A7 by the buttons on top, good luck creating an entire schedule using them. Schedules are the way you'd probably want to have this device clean your home, in the sense that you just set it, go to work, have it clean up, and have it go back to charge. So after watching the A7 clean up for some time, I noticed a few things regarding the obstacle detection. I must really be fortunate because it seems like my dinner table was designed specifically for the A7, as it happily runs right under it. And not so fortunate part was my couch's legs, which weren't detected by the A7, but it kind of hobbled over them without triggering the built-in sensors that detect when someone picks up the A7. That being said, the A7 didn't like moving onto the Shag pile carpet from the regular carpet. Is the A7 for you then? Well, Robovacs are not a replacement for your regular vacuum cleaner. However, it is revolutionary if you want to keep dust in your place to a minimum. The A7 builds on iLife's pedigree, and while it doesn't have cameras or scanners, it still works and works really well. It is fully featured, its cleaning power is excellent, and it is great value for money. Thank you iLife for ensuring I'm allowed to be just that much lazier. A massive shout out again to iLife for sending over this unit for us to check out, and be sure to visit makeusoft.com where you can find our full review.